Let's add a tail to this character right now. So that shouldn't be too hard. What we have to do is just create a new joint. And I'm just going to grab this spine one and duplicate it and move it over. I'm going to rotate it down like that. I'm just going to save time with this, delete all this. And so yeah, maybe I'll adjust the positioning here. Um, and how many joints to put in a tail? Well, that depends how smooth the weights are going to be. But in this case, it's also better to just do it in a side view because then you will not move it in weird ways. For some reason, my camera got messed up. I think I was switching between Y and Z up, which actually doesn't really matter for Unreal. To be honest with you, when you're working in Maya, I'm finding that Unreal is pretty good at converting from Y up to Z up. All right, so I can just add one more here, just duplicate and reparent. And if you want to adjust them, you hold D and move them. And you could, in theory, just, I think what's important with those joints is like an even spacing. I feel like we're missing one more, so I'm going to duplicate this and move it here and parent that one to that one. And now I'm going to try to redistribute them. So I'm always looking at that center of mass for those inner joints. Something like this, maybe. So you see how this is looking pretty good, I feel. So now if I go back to my perspective view, I have those joints pretty much sorted, right? So that's cool. All right. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're okay. Let's expand that, and then we have some dead parent constraints, because once we duplicated the joints, they duplicate with the constraints they had. So I'm just gonna do a little trick here because I don't like what's happening. I'm gonna write like a little script here in Python. Why not? From Maya import CMDS, and then I'm just gonna do list all objects inside the selected objects. So it's kind of gonna be like a filter here. So relatives equals CMDS list relatives, and then so first I need to get my selected object. So selected object equals CMDS ls, selection equals true, and I'm just going to get the first selected element. It's going to error if I have nothing selected, but that's okay. Selected objects, all descendants equals true. So I'm getting all descendants, and then what I want to do is select everything that's a constraint in it, maybe. Let's do that. So maybe selected type equals, let's say, constraint. So for object in relatives, if CMDS node type object equals selected type, CMDS select object add equals true. So it's going to add it to selection. But what I want to do here is first I want to clear my selections. So CMDS select deselect equals true. So first I'm getting my selection, get my selection, then clear selection. So I'm getting my selection and storing a variable. Okay, and then I'm just gonna clear it, then get the relatives and filter only constraints, and then select constraints. So that should do it, right? So I say, when I run it now, it didn't work. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've got something special for all you rigging and game dev enthusiasts out there. If you've ever wanted to master quadruped rigging from scratch, then I've got the perfect course for you. My quadruped rigging course is designed to take you from zero experience to creating fully rigged animated creature. No prior knowledge needed. We'll go through everything. Building the skeleton, skinning, creating controls, and setting up advanced rig systems. By the end of the course, you'll be able to animate your creature integrated in Unreal Engine 5, bringing your game projects to life. The course is available on my website at Cornica3D and also on Patreon. Become a member, support my work, and get access to this course and a lot more. Trust me, you won't regret it. Error on line 16. No type object. So the problem is that we have duplicate names here because that already exists somewhere else. I duplicated and it just copied the name. So we need to get a long path here, I think, and that should do it. List index out of range. Okay, I feel like, oh, we need to select something. So if we get that error, we could actually do something here, like try, and then we can do accept index error. Then if there is an index error, CMDS error, and we say select something, please, right? And so that error will be more proper. So like if I do that now, like select something, please, right? And then we select something. And then now when we run it, oh, that flag doesn't exist. I think maybe it was full path or long path. Yeah, select something, please. Okay, so it sounds like that should have worked, but maybe the problem is that the type of this thing is not a constraint. Yeah. So what we do, why don't we just do this, make it a list, and then say parent constraint. And then if we want to expand it, we can expand it later at other objects. But in this case, I only want to get parent constraint. And if node type object in selected type. And then now with that, it will select me all the parent constraints in the selection. So you see, this is a nice filter script. So I'm going to share it with you here. Filter script. You can see the whole thing here if you want to write it yourself. Selects all objects of given types in hierarchy below selected object. So basically here is where you define what you want to select. Parent constraint. If you want to select joints in hierarchy, you can change it to joint. And then now look what's going to happen when you run it. It's only going to select joints, you see. So this is something that Maya doesn't really have, and it's really useful. Parent constraint. And now it's going to select you all the parent constraints within given hierarchy. And you can also make it into a button, or you could make like multiple options too, like you want other constraints too, you can do comma, scale constraint, and you can do orient constraint, and you can do point constraint, and whatever other constraint you want. So you see what you can do here is point constraint, and we can do aim constraint. right? So this is really nice because that's gonna basically, if I select this thing right now and run it on top, it's gonna select me all the constraints in my rig, regardless of their type. And to prove it, I'm just gonna do the skeleton group and now run it. And look, it also selected the scale constraints in there, right? So this is really nice filter. So I'm actually gonna bring it over to my shelf now. And then here, you can do things like filter, constraint. So that's a nice button to have. It's going to filter you all the constraints in hierarchy. And you can do tooltip, filter constraints in hierarchy. Now I'm going to show you something else here. You can actually do pop-up menu items too. You can add a pop-up here. And pop-up can be of type Python. And you can rename your pop-up and you can say filter joints. So you see what I mean? Now then you can copy that code and paste it there, and instead you can do joint. So that's going to filter you joints. See what I mean? Super useful. And then you can add another pop-up and you can do what we did before, filter constraints. So like, and then you can just copy that there. So you have two filters now, and let me show you how this works. You can close this now. And so first of all, when you select your skeleton, filter constraints, it's going to filter you all the constraints. But now if you right click here, you can do filter joints. And for some reason it didn't work. Let's try again here. Pop-up menu items, filter joint. Oh yeah, for some reason it didn't update my code. Weird. Paste it again and change it to joints. Yeah, how do I save things here? Option, save automatically. It should save. Okay, close. Save all shelves. And now, right click filter joints. There you go. Right click filter constraints. There you go. See, so super useful script. Okay, so that was quite a detour I took to the site. I feel like we need to stop here and resume after because this has been a little bit long. So let's do this and let's get back to how we can actually add that tail rig now. One more thing we need to do here in the end. Let's just put it to use now. I say right click, filter constraints. Okay, maybe from here. Filter constraints and just delete them. And then now with that, I can rename all those joints using my comment tool, my favorite renamer. Rename it to tail underscore, starting at 1, padding 2, rename a number, see what I mean? Add the suffix joint at suffix. There you go. So that's looking great. Now, yeah, that's looking great. So now we need to somehow, first of all, add them to skinning, skin them. And then we can do things like, add some controllers. And I don't want to add millions of controllers, so we're going to have to be smart about this. But let's stop here and let's get back to it.
Okay guys, thanks for watching that tutorial. I hope you liked it. If so, make sure to subscribe. Also, I have been working on my passion project, which is this RPG game, turn-based, kind of like Heroes of Might and Magic or Age of Wonders. Just have a look, and if you're interested in sponsoring it, make sure to help me out on my Patreon. In return, you're gonna get free tutorials, free art, and a chance to contribute. See you in the next one.